Hey you guys, it's Melissa and Jess with Bodify. We are here for our second annual Sister Sit Down.
Can't wait!
Yes, so we asked a bunch of you questions on our social media. We said, hey, what questions do you have about Coolsculpting? So here we are to answer them.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. We're here to be transparent and answer all those questions for you. So Melissa, the first question is there a particular body part that happens to respond best to Coolsculpting?
I would say no.
Aww.
I'd say our most popular area that we do are the stomach and the love handles, but I've been doing this for 10 years. We've done over 22,000 treatments, and I haven't seen one area that's better responding than the others.
Fat does not discriminate. You've got it, Coolsculpting can handle it.
All right, great. So this question is, I have bad love handles.
So do me.
Do I just need it one time, or do I have to come in multiple times?
It's so interesting because I think a question that we continually get, rightfully so, when people call or when they come in is, well, how many treatments do I need to do? And the reality of the situation is it always depends on how much fat you have, but more importantly, how much fat you want gone. So some people come in and they are looking for small tweaks and refinements, and they don't want a large percentage of their fat gone, so they can do one treatment and achieve that 20% reduction. But the vast majority of our clients are definitely going to do every body part at least twice, so it's just that much more transformative, and they can really see a noticeable change in whatever area is frustrating them. But we'd invite you to come in, we'll take a look, we'll show you pictures of our own clients who have done 1, 2, or 3 rounds, so that way visually you can match up which results you're most excited to achieve on those own horrible love handles, as you said. I don't think horrible was the word, but you got what I'm saying.
Bad love handles.
Awesome. So Melissa, when's the next Coolsculpting sale?
Ooh, everybody loves Coolsculpting sales. So typically we just do 2 sales a year. We do one for Black Friday, which is our buy one, get one half off, our BOGO half off. And then we do one in May for our grand opening. But right now we are running a program or a special with Brilliant Distinctions where you can get up to $1,000 off when you buy certain packages.
And we love that promotion because some people aren't investing in multiple body parts, and so they might not qualify for the $1,000 off, but regardless if you're doing 1 spot or 10 spots, you'll definitely get great pricing.
All right, next question is, how long does it take for one treatment? So that's like time-wise, I'm thinking during the day, like how long are they here for?
So again, the answer to that is it depends. At Bodify, between our 2 locations, we do have 7 machines. Of course, we have the fastest applicators, and we have 9 different applicators. So depending on which body parts you're doing and how many body parts you're doing, that's really going to dictate the time in the office. The great news is after 22,000 treatments, we're absolutely masters. It's like a Tetris game, and we can figure out how to get multiple machines on people at a time, so that way their treatment plan is as short as possible. But I will tell you that sometimes people say, hey, because it's so relaxing, I want to hang out all afternoon, so can you make it take a little bit longer? So we can do that too. But the applicators run from anywhere from 35 minutes, and the longest is 75 minutes. So again, we just kind of put it together in a way that's most time efficient for our clients.
I'd say our average client spends, what, probably about 90 minutes here.
Yeah, perfect. Freezing that fat away.
All right, next question, Jess.
All right, so for you, is there different preparation for men or women for Coolsculpting? And that's a great question because a lot of men are like, ugh, Coolsculpting's just for females, and that's not the case.
Are you going to take the answer or what?
No. I should.
So there's definitely nothing different that you need to do man versus woman. The only thing I would say, if you are a guy and we're going to be treating something like the pecs or the submental fat under the chin or the belly or the love handles, and you are a little bit hairy or a lot bit hairy, let's get the razor out and shave that down so that we can get more contact with the skin and we can freeze those pesky little fat cells easier.
Awesome. And guess what? We don't want to exclude women. If you happen to be a little hairy, that's okay too, and you just want to trim or shave down. So as Melissa said, we can get the most effective treatment for you.
Great. So are there any adverse reactions that can come with Coolsculpting?
So what we always love to say during our consultation is there's really 2 adverse reactions. Number 1, and I don't know if it's really adverse, it's just kind of our way of being funny, is that you're going to fall in love and you're going to become addicted to Coolsculpting because it works brilliantly, different shapes and sizes, different body parts. And in 22,000 treatments, we've just seen it be ridiculously consistent and predictable. And then, of course, like with any technology, procedure, or product, there are always the potential for some adverse reactions. There's about 3% of the population 5 to 7 days after the treatment. When your nerve endings wake up, it's more than a little uncomfortable, and it can feel like little pinpricks or bee stings. And if that's the case, fortunately, Bodify stays in very close to communication with all of our clients after they treat. So you give us a call, you send us a text, or shoot us an email, and we'll have our medical director call in a prescription for you. It's not a narcotic, it just helps subside kind of that stingy and prickly until those nerve endings wake completely back up. And then I would say the second one is pH, and Melissa will talk a little bit about that. Very rare, we've never seen it, but we also want to be honest that there is a potential for it.
Yeah, so paradoxical adipose hyperplasia.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, we'll just call it PAH, is basically when the opposite reaction happens. So instead of your fat cells going away, the fat cells grow back. The good news is it is extremely, extremely rare, and if it does happen, Coolsculpting does provide a solution for it, and we take great care of you.
Yeah, so again, knock on wood, don't be our first, we have not had it. All right, Melissa, how often can I return for treatments to do Coolsculpting?
So this is a great question. Typically we do the first treatment, we wait about 4 to 6 weeks, and that's when we do the second treatment. After that, we like to wait anywhere between 2 months to 4 months before we decide if we want to do a third treatment or not. So it's very safe to do Coolsculpting a second time on the same area 4 weeks after.
And some of our clients, because I read this question and just to make sure we're covering all the bases, sometimes I think people mean, can you do all the areas in one, or can you spread them out? So most of our clients absolutely want to knock out all those areas in one treatment, but let's say you're doing your chin and your arms and your abs, and for some reason you don't want to sit in a chair for 3 hours, you could absolutely come in one day, and then the next day, and then the next day. It wouldn't, change the effectiveness of the treatment.
Just depends on your schedule and what you want. Most people want to come in and just knock it all out, and if you're here for a certain period of time, we're happy to order you in breakfast or lunch, or even bring in dinner for you.
Of course.
Okay, so the next question is, how long is the process from start to finish with all of the sessions?
Yeah, so again, this is my favorite response to all these questions, is it depends. So for example, if you came in and you treated your arms today and you only wanted a 20% reduction, which of course is a nice reduction, it's just not as dramatic as if you did it twice, that entire process would actually be 4 months, because in the 22,000 treatments, we have found that the average person takes between 2 months and 4 months for the 20 to 25% of those fat cells to flush out. But let's say when you're looking at our photos and you talk to our consultants that you're really clear that your arms are an area that you want a dramatic reduction, so you choose to do a second round and you do it at 4 weeks, well guess what? Now your results are going to be 4 months past that last time that you did the treatment. So again, it depends how many areas you're treating, how many rounds you're doing, but for a single round, one body part, it does take 2 to 4 months to see that full transformation.
But the good news is the fat usually didn't come on overnight, and so we have to be a little bit patient, and it'll come off in a few months.
Besides, it's very natural looking that way too, right? And the skin has the ability to retract, which is another huge perk of Coolsculpting. So this is a similar question, but how many treatments does it normally take to see results?
One treatment's going to give you a 20% reduction. It just really, like Jess said before, depends on how much fat you want to go away. So I always give the analogy of that you have a red house, and you love the red house, but you decided you want to paint it white. So the contractor comes in and says you need 4 coats of paint, 5 coats of paint to be able to get it to be a white house. So you come in with your first session of Coolsculpting, where you're going to paint the red house white. What do you have? You have a pink house.
So you're moving in the right direction.
But it's still a pink house. So you come in, you do another session, you do another coat of white paint, and we're getting closer and closer and closer to the end goal. And so I think that's a nice way to think about it.
And something that I pride ourselves on at Bodify is 10 years ago, it was one and done, right? You came in, you did one session, it's like Coolsculpting is going to be amazing. But again, after 22,000 treatments and just having endless conversations with our clients and our prospects, we really figured out it was in our best interest to set proper expectations. And what we know is the vast majority of people are much, much happier if they do 2 rounds versus 1 round on a spot. And so in a lot of cases, if someone comes in and is like, oh my gosh, I need the full bodysuit, I hate my whole body, we actually really stress that someone focus on 1 or 2 areas and do them twice or 3 times versus kind of spreading that out across the body, just so that it's a more wonderful and transformative result.
Yeah, good. Okay, well, this one is asking, do I need to change my diet or exercise routines to see the results?
This is one of my favorite questions. Something I love about Coolsculpting is it truly meets people where they're at. I would say it's a 50-50 split. We have people come in and they are like, I am doing everything I know how to do. I'm exercising 6 days a week, I'm a triathlete, I eat complete keto, I don't drink alcohol, and they still have spots on their body that frustrate them, which for us is a wonderful gift because we know we can help them transform those spots because they are out of options of hard work and eating better. And so those people of course don't need to change their diet and exercise because we are literally targeting spots on their body that they can't transform on their own. So even if someone comes in and maybe they are a little bit heavier or maybe they aren't eating very well or exercising a ton, they certainly don't need to change those things in order to appreciate their Coolsculpting results. But if they do Coolsculpting in conjunction with some lifestyle changes, their results are going to be more transformative. And why? Because we're not shrinking fat cells. Coolsculpting is getting a fat cell so cold that we trigger apoptosis, the cell dies and flushes out, but through their own diet and exercise change efforts, they're shrinking fat cells. And so the combination of that is always going to be more dramatic. We always say the only thing that will really negate or prevent you from appreciating your Coolsculpting results for a lifetime is weight gain. We're taking out 20, 40% of your fat cells, you still have 80 or 60%, and those little suckers are opportunistic and happy to expand if you don't do the right things.
Great answer, JJ.
I think I want to know what a banana roll is.
Ooh, the banana roll. It's not a loaf that you eat.
Should I show them? No, just show you.
I think you should stand up because it is a weird area, right? So it's right below the buttocks and right above the upper thigh. So it's this little spot right here. Some people say that we froze it off of her. Just kidding, she never had one. Some people call it like their second butt. So we want to make sure that you have good gluteal muscles, that you have tone in that area and that it's lifted, because sometimes if you don't have a lot of muscle tone in that area and we take that fat pad away, the booty can drop, and we don't want to be dropping any booties. So come on in if you think that you have one. We will assess you, make sure that you are a good candidate, and we get amazing results with it. It's pretty great, especially like women that like to wear their skinny jeans. They feel like they're embarrassed of that area because it's so tight and they get this other little bump right below their butt. So,
and I think that's an area in particular. How do you transform that through diet and exercise, right? Most people, when they're losing weight, they're shrinking fat cells in a bunch of areas. It's really hard to spot reduce that second glute.
Okay. Let's see. Can I Coolsculpt with a friend?
Yes. Couples and friends are always freezing together. I find it remarkable, but I think sometimes when people do things together, instead of making somebody else the guinea pig, they're just more vested in it. They stay motivated. They stay more on track with some diet and exercise changes that they might want to make. And it's also really fun for those people, whether it's a couple or just friends, to come back together, cheer each other on, see each other's transformation, and just be on, you know, a transformation journey with someone. So we love, love, love when friends freeze together or when couples
stay
freeze
together, right? Yeah. The cutest thing ever is we have them and they're like FaceTiming each other. They're in different rooms and they're both freezing and FaceTiming.
Like, how does this feel?
All right, what's the next question?
The next question is, will my fat come back after Coolsculpting?
This is a great question because it does not, but there's a caveat to it. So like Jess said earlier, is that we're not just shrinking the fat cells, we're actually freezing them, causing them to die and flush out of the body. In our mid to late teens, our body will set the number of fat cells that we have, and so we're never gonna have any more and we're never gonna have any less. But when you gain weight, those fat cells will expand, and when you lose weight, those fat cells will shrink. So like Jess said before, we have to make sure that we have good diet, good exercise routines and habits, that way we're not expanding the ones that are left over.
Or at least maintaining. It doesn't happen often, but every once in a while I'll have someone come in and they look great, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing for diet and exercise? And they are just genetically blessed and they look amazing and they're not having to do anything. So again, it's not so much about having those things, but not deviating from whatever you're currently doing unless you intend to improve it.
Cool. Let's see, how long is the session, and can I get work done on my laptop while I'm freezing?
Funny you should ask that. So the other day I literally had a man start yipping, hooping, and hollering. I was like, what is going on in there? So I ran into the man cave just to check on him. I'm like, are you okay? He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just closed a $500,000 deal for my company. So he was just doing a conference call and he got the yes that they could move forward with that plan that they were doing. So absolutely, most of our clients sit back, they nap, they watch Hulu or Netflix, they work, they do conference calls, they do Zoom. So whatever suits them and whatever they need to do, it's definitely a comfortable treatment and you can work away. And a lot of people, we laugh once we do the massage and we're getting ready to send them out. They're like, can I just finish and stay and watch this show? So we definitely have rooms set up so it's very comfortable, luxurious, and makes you feel welcome and like you want to hang out for a long time.
All right, so this is the final question. Why did you and your sister, me, Melissa, decide to go into Coolsculpting over other metastatic areas?
I think that's a really great question, and a benefit that my sister and I had that we always tell people before we opened is we really got to sit down and decide who we wanted to be. We weren't an existing med spa that decided to bring in this technology, but we said, hey, we want to build a business around a technology or a product. So when we went and searched high and low, Coolsculpting was the inevitable choice for multiple reasons. Number one, my sister had about 3.5 years of experience with it, and she just consistently saw predictable and wonderful results as long as someone was actually a candidate, as long as the right treatment plan was created, and as long as proper expectations were set. So that was critically important for us. And then secondarily, we wanted to be able to wrap a guarantee around anything that we were doing. And we looked at a ton of technologies, and there was just nothing that was so consistent that we felt comfortable that we could guarantee a result and not go out of business. And we have seen time and time again over the 5.5 years and 22,000 treatments that Coolsculpting works. And when it doesn't, we're happy to retreat those people for free. Those down comforters are just wrapped up around those fat cells for some reason for several people, and so we're always happy to go in there and hit those again so we can honor our word and honor our promise and get people great results.
Yeah, and I think another reason that we decided Coolsculpting only was because we didn't want to be the jack of all trades. We wanted to be the master of one, and I think it's so important when our clients come in here, we are singularly focused on doing one technology. We know it like the back of our hand. I mean, 22,000 treatments. You have multiple technicians that are all master certified that are working on you, and I think that's really important. When you go to somebody, you want to go to a specialist. You don't want to go to somebody that does 25 other treatments and
dabbles in fat reduction.
Exactly, and they're like, oh, I think I kind of know how this works. No, you want to go to somebody that knows what they're doing, and that's what you find here at Bodify.
That was an awesome question to end on, so thanks for joining us for this sister sit down, and we can't wait till next year's. Thanks, and keep the questions coming.
Perfect.
Okay,
Awesome.
so then we'll do the Bodify Academy ones.
Yeah. So then the intro just be like on the